Hi everyone, happy Friday. I wanted to take a minute and make my question and answer video. I know I've been promising that for a while now, so I'm finally making it. And I took the questions that you guys have dropped in the comments and some from the Alternate Day Fasters Unite Facebook group on some of the comments there. So I just kind of wanted to address those questions, give you my, answer obviously to it, and just make it kind of a quick and easy video. I did just make an updated video for my 1 month, so I'm probably going to release this question and answer one and then go back and edit my update because I'm trying to learn how to use CapCut and to edit my videos. But for the time being, as promised, I have my question and answer video. So I just wanted to start. Everybody always asks me, how much weight have you lost and how long did it take you? So the short version of that is and I'm 5'4", I'm 37 years old. I just turned 37 in September. My highest ever recorded weight, non-pregnant, was 220 pounds on a 5'4" frame. And my weight now is 110. I mean, technically today it was 108, but for all intents and purposes, we'll use 110. So I've lost 110 pounds total since my all-time heaviest, which was back in 2018. Since fasting, I've been a clean faster since September 5th of 2023. So I've been fasting now for just over 2 years. I started back in September of 23 at 186 pounds, and I'll get into it. So it was like in September of 23, I was 186 pounds. By July of 24, I had gotten down to 153. But then I got comfortable, I got kind of cocky, I had window creep, I had, poor food choices, really long windows, and I really let myself go there for a while. So from August of 24 until December. So for the last back half of last year, I regained all that weight. I can't believe I let myself do that, but what are you going to do? It was part of my journey. So come January of this year, of 2025, we had gone on vacation in the middle of January, and I came back 7 pounds heavier, which put me at a starting weight again of up to 184 pounds. So I literally had gained all my weight back that I lost from fasting, except for 2 pounds. So I had a heck of a conversation with myself and decided that, January 24th, that's the day I'm starting alternate day fasting, and I'm going to stick to it and commit to it for a year. So in that time frame, so I feel like I started over essentially, even though I've been fasting for 2 years. I went from 184 to 110. So that's 74 pounds I've lost since January of this year. How long did it take? Well, since this is an alternate day fasting story, and I'm going to make another video just in case anybody wants to know my whole story. And by the way, if you want to listen to my story, Google up or find on your podcast platforms, The Fasting Highway. Graham Curry is the producer of that. I'm on episode number 236 that was recorded last August of 24. That's my life story when it comes to my weight transformation. And then we did another recording, and I'm on episode, I believe, 275. And that was into my alternate day fasting journey. So if you want to hear more about the details of all the ups and downs and in-betweens, check out the Fasting Highway podcast, episode number 236 and 275. So people are like, okay, how long did it take you to get to maintenance? Short answer, 6 months. I started in January, although it was the end of January. And by beginning of July, I had already surpassed my goal and declared maintenance. And what that looks like was, again, I started January 24th at 184 pounds. And by May, sometime in May, I had gotten to a goal of 135. And 135 was like my dream goal. My first goal was the 153, so I could get back to the lowest I had gotten with fasting and then move on. So I think I hit like the 150s. I can't remember. I'll have to double check, but I think it was sometime like end of March. Because then April, I hit like the 140s. And I think it was the early weeks of May, I hit that all-time dream goal. Like ever since I've been on a weight loss journey, I've always wanted to be that 135. I hit that in the middle of May of this year. And then, but I was like, well, you know, I can still squish fat. I still feel it. Like, I feel like my body's going to let me know. And I'm like, I didn't want to just be like, oops, check the box. I'm 135. I can go back to my old habits now. It's like, no, I wanted to keep doing what I was doing. The alternate day fasting makes me feel absolutely incredible. The energy and just the life I feel like that's breathed into me during those long fasts feels amazing. So I figured I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And so I did. So July 1st, I believe I was 120, and I was just like mind blown. It was like, I can't believe I'm 120 pounds. I was like, I've never weighed that as an adult before. But again, I just that's when I was like, you know what? That's good. I'm happy where I'm at. It's a healthy BMI. And I'm like, all right, July is maintenance. So now here we are in the beginning of October. I've been in maintenance now for 3 months. I still lost another 10 to 12 pounds. And that's been with letting go and backing off from the hardcore up day, down day every single day. So since July, I've really been experimenting with maintenance, which looks anything of like, you know, 1 meal a day of like that could translate to a 1 hour eating window. So a 23 and 1. I tend to gravitate more towards a 20 and a 4, or at the most an 18-6. I think one time I had a 16-8 or an 8-hour eating window in there, but I don't feel good when I have a really long window. It makes me feel sluggish. It shows on the scale. So anyways, to answer that question, how long did it take me to get to maintenance? Officially, January to July was 6 months, but I feel like my official maintenance is more, it's hard because July I hit 120, October I'm 110. So I don't plan on going any lower than like the 108, 110. I'm not trying to get into the unhealthy BMI range. Technically 107.5 on a 5'4" frame and under is unhealthy. So I'm still in the healthy range. My goal is to stay in the healthy range. And if anything, I'd like to see maybe add 5 pounds of lean muscle. So I'm going to continue with my strength training, focusing on lean, like protein intake, pay attention to that. So my goal is to just be the best running machine body that I can have. I just want to be healthy. My why has shifted tremendously from, you know, I want to have self-confidence. I want to have self-esteem. I want to feel good in my skin. I want to wear a bikini. I want to be a good role model for my kids. Like, that used to be my why. And even though it's still part of my why, I feel like I've accomplished that. I'm living my why now. But you know, your why is something that evolves and is ever changing over time. And you know, now I'm focusing more on like longevity. And I know I'm only 37 and my oldest daughter is only just turned 12. But to be honest with you, part of my why is I want to be that healthy, fun, active grandma. You know, I can't wait to have grandkids and babysit for my kids and do all of the things and be healthy and active, and you know, and I want to be able to not be in pain. Do you know how many people I know right now that are in their like 60s and 70s that are unfortunately in really poor health, where they're in pain every day and their joints ache, and my heart goes out to them. I feel terrible. But to be honest with you, I really know for a fact that fasting can change all of that. And I want to keep fasting so that I can have a life full of vibrancy and, all that. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, on to the next question. How many calories was I eating during the fat loss phase? And if I don't count calories, what did meals look like? I'm going to combine this answer with another question of like, what were my up-day meal examples and what are my favorite go-to things to eat? So I do not count calories. That was one of the things, like when I did Weight Watchers or just calorie counting with MyFitnessPal, that was the first thing that I stopped. It added so much unnecessary stress. I was like, felt like one more thing for me to have to do. I hated counting calories. So when I started fasting and I realized that I don't have to count or track anything, I was like in my glory. That was the best thing, the best news I ever could have heard. So I do not count calories, but according to my segmental body composition machine scale that I use, that tells me my basal metabolic rate. So in the beginning, when I was 184, I was burning roughly 1,500 calories at rest. So obviously I must have been eating less than that. And I know there's a whole other conversation for why it's so much more complicated than calories in, calories out. Weight loss is not, there's a Jason Fung YouTube video. I don't know how to post links below, but if you look up Jason Fung, one of his recent videos was about why it is so much more than calories in, calories out. But anyways, now at like 110 pounds, I'm only burning about 1,200 calories a day. So yes, my metabolism has come down a little bit. I'm not burning as many calories, but I'm also a much smaller person. Like, does that make sense? Like, I'm not gonna burn as many calories because my body doesn't need to, because it's much smaller and more efficient now. So and to that note, the calorie thing, your body's going to go through what's called appetite correction. So I know a lot of people get hung up on like, oh, my basal metabolic rate is 1,500 calories. I have to make sure I get all of those or I'm going to go into starvation mode. It's like your body's smart, and it has the hormones leptin and ghrelin that let you know when you're hungry that you should eat and when you're full and you should stop. So that's real. That right there, listening to my own hunger and satiety signals was what I feel really worked well for me. So rather than counting calories, I completely 100% with everything in me dialed into how do I feel physically. The second I'm like, oh, I'm not hungry anymore. I've had enough. I'm not stuffed, I'm not full, but I'm like, yeah, I've refueled, I'm satisfied, I've nourished myself with healthy food. I'm good to stop. And in the beginning, when I was 184 pounds, I would eat a full-size plate, a normal portion to what I had before. And it took me a little while because I was like stuffing myself. And eventually I'm like, that doesn't feel good. I'm going to stop earlier and see how that feels. And that started to feel much better. So that's when I started really dialing in to being like, let's pay attention. And over time, say a regular sized dinner plate, and I put everything on the plate and I'd eat the whole plate. Over time, it was like, 3/4 of a plate. And then it was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't have put that much on my plate. It took me a really long time to figure out, and I was packing up leftovers or honestly just tossing it in the trash for quite a long time until I could figure this out. As I lost weight, it took me less and less food to feel full and satisfied. So I just kind of tuned into what my body told me to do. It was just, or if I had a higher protein, higher quality fat meal, I would get fuller faster. So I just listened to what my body told me to do. I really didn't count calories. If you want to know more about that, there's an awesome book out there called AC: The Power of Appetite Correction. AC: The Power of Appetite Correction by Dr. Bert Herring. He talks about all the science behind that, how your stomach shrinks, you have stretch receptors in there, you have your hormones. So I would take calories and throw them out the window and then just listen to yourself. Don't stuff yourself. Don't feel like you got to get rolled home after a night out. Just eat until you feel good. Okay, that leads into what are my favorite go-to meals? What do my up-day meal examples look like? Short answer is, primarily I eat dinner. When I do an eating window, it's usually dinner with my family. The structure of my meals, and I guess this is kind of how I was raised and what's easier for me. I've never been a big recipe follower. I don't do well with intricate recipes. I just kind of take ingredients and put them together. And the structure of that I like to do is like a lean protein, a green leafy vegetable, and a complex fibrous carbohydrate. And then I take those categories and I just do a hodgepodge of different combinations. So I guess for examples of dinner meals, and I'm just kind of mentally thinking like, what do I have in my fridge at the moment? It's like, and it's still nice out. So we like to try to grill as often as possible well, sometimes we grill in the snow, but anyway, so here are some examples. We have a tenderloin steak. I probably would eat half. I'll split it with my kids. Like a tenderloin steak with steamed green beans and roasted garlic potatoes I make in the oven. Another example, and even if you just take the steak, say it's steak with asparagus, whether that's steamed in the microwave, or sometimes I'll saute it with olive oil with some sliced red onions, chop that up and saute it in a frying pan. And then you can do that with boiled potatoes. I just buy those little baby new potatoes. Or you can have steak with broccoli, steamed broccoli. Sometimes I'll put Parmesan and some butter on it, with mashed potatoes. There's the structure, 3 different meals, all with the same protein. And then it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll do chicken. And my grocery store sells individual vacuum packed marinated chicken breasts. So I usually buy the Italian marinated chicken breast, organic, as often as I can. And so say we grill chicken breast, I'll have that with, my go-to vegetables, and I steam them primarily because it's quick and easy, with limited other ingredients, green beans, broccoli, asparagus. I'll do the broccoli, cauliflower, carrot combination. I'll do just cauliflower. I'll do carrots. Those are my go-tos because my kids will eat those. I eat the same stuff all the time, over and over again. I think I stay away from vegetables like corn and peas as often as I can, just because I know those have a higher sugar content. And then my complex carb, if I'm even going to make them, it's usually some form of potato. I don't think there's anything wrong with potatoes. Potato chips compared to like a whole potato or a baked potato is totally different. But we'll do things like wild rice, we'll do couscous, we'll do quinoa. And again, I just kind of have a rotation. So some of my other lean meats that I like, so I have like steak. I don't have it this is just what's on the top of my head. I'm not saying I eat steak primarily. I do tend to eat like the whiter meat. I'll have chicken, we'll do pork tenderloins all the time, grill, throw it in the oven. I will make a pasta meal here and there, but I tend to do like pasta heavy meals on a down day just because, my kids and husband really like them and I like them too. But in general, I try to avoid processed, refined flours and sugars. So things like that I stay away from. Oh, the other thing, I like shrimp a lot. I'll get like a bag of the jumbo cooked shrimp, thaw it out, and eat that with cocktail sauce, like as an appetizer. And then that's a protein rich meal. Some other pre-dinner meal snack type ideas that I like to go to. I keep hard-boiled eggs in the fridge all the time. Those are really good. It sounds strange, but I like a hard-boiled egg with some spicy mustard on it, and I can eat 1 to 3 hard-boiled eggs with mustard on it, depending on what else I'm eating or how hungry I am. I like to keep cottage cheese in the fridge. I do plain unsweetened Greek yogurt. I like to have that with mixed berries. Every once in a while, I'll throw a little bit of homemade granola in there, but not very often because I don't like making it. I'm trying to think of the protein sources. Again, I'll have the shrimp with cocktail sauce. I do eat nuts and cheese, but those tend to pack a really powerful calorie punch. So every once in a while, I'll buy the cracker cuts of cheese, like a sharp cheddar or Colby Jack, and I'll have maybe 2 or 3 of the 1 ounce squares with maybe a handful of nuts, like a quarter cup. Like a serving size of nuts is only a quarter cup, which is a small handful. It's super easy to go overboard on the nuts and cheese. But then I get into the combinations of things and the raw veggies. So I'll do celery sticks with natural peanut butter. And the peanut butter that I buy it's the kind that only has salted peanuts, peanuts and salt. That's all the ingredients. Don't buy the kind with the palm oils or the excess sugar, even if it's organic or cane sugar, or you want to stay away from that. And I find it, and this is a little trick, I find that Schmucker's makes a good one, and I know my grocery store, Wegmans, has peanuts and salt. You're going to get this much oil on the top, and people avoid that because it's impossible to stir it in the jar. So what I do, and I've done this for years, you get a mixing bowl and you empty the whole jar of peanut butter and the oil into the mixing bowl, and you beat it with an electric mixer until it's all consistent. Put it back in the jar, put the top on, store it upside down in the fridge, and it will be the same consistency every time you go to use it. So I love that. And I'll have peanut butter on a banana. I'll have peanut butter on celery sticks. Sometimes I'll take peanut butter, and you can do the same thing with almond butter, but I like the flavor of peanut butter better. I'll just take a tablespoon, a nice chunk tablespoon, and just kind of slowly savor it off the spoon. I'll put a tablespoon of the nut butter in a smoothie. That's another thing that I like to make. Is a window opener. I like to make a protein smoothie that consists of unsweetened vanilla almond milk, half a banana, whether it's fresh, or I'll use frozen banana. If it's fresh, I throw some ice in there just so it's cold. I do a scoop of protein powder, which Momentous. That's the brand I use because I heard it on a Rachel Hollis podcast, and it seems to be really good. I get the chocolate protein powder. I throw a scoop of collagen peptides in there, and this month I'm experimenting with the same brand of creatine. That's a story for another time, but I am trying to experiment with creatine for the muscle benefits. So the nut butter and a handful of spinach, like a nice handful of spinach in there. So I'll make a smoothie with that. I don't change up my smoothie recipe very often. I just think I'm a creature of habit. I really am. Every once in a while, I'll get into I'll go on Pinterest, or I'll look for weeknight healthy meals or get different ideas. Some other combinations of things, just looking at my meal board. This week I made Indian chicken, chicken masala. So I took that, plain organic chicken, I cut it up, threw it in a pot and cooked it, dumped a jar of the masala sauce in there, simmered it for a while, served that with jasmine rice and steamed broccoli. Perfect. Another go-to for family meals we like a lot in this house, same concept, is chicken and gravy. So I take the plain chicken, cut it up, cook it, season it, throw a can of the condensed Campbell's chicken and herb soup, a can of Heinz chicken gravy, mix it all up in a pot on the stove, and then we'll have that with like mashed potatoes and frozen mixed vegetables. Sometimes if I want to be a little indulgent, I will make like a can of Pillsbury biscuits. The other thing too is that we go out like frequently, and when I do go out, I kind of pick whatever I'm in the mood for. Whether it's a burger and fries or chicken wings or, what else? Or like a big salad. I hate making salads at home. I hate getting all the ingredients out. I hate all the room the stuff takes up in the fridge. So if I want a salad, if I'm really craving a salad, I'll go out for one. Things like that. So it depends on like whatever I'm in the mood for. I do still eat all the things, but I'm trying so hard. Like it has taken me a long time to make the transition from eating like all the things to really, really, really trying to avoid the processed refined carbs and sugar, and flours. I'm trying to, shop the perimeter of the store, eat the fruits and veggies, focus on the protein. But when I go out, it's more of as long as I stop before I'm stuffed, I should be okay. So again, that's something that's going to come in time with me to change. You got to give yourself grace too. It's a process. And I try to tell myself I've been trying to lose weight for 30 years and I feel like I'm finally figuring it out, and it's not going to change overnight. And, maybe eventually I will be able to cook at home a lot more often. And we don't go out all the time, but maybe like 2 nights a week, for dinner, something like that. Every once in a while we'll go to breakfast as a family, or my husband and I will go out for lunch for a lunch date. Anyways, speaking of food, one of the questions I had was, do you still get hungry and irritable between meals? This one, thankfully, I don't. I really, really don't. And I stopped feeling hungry and irritable between meals back during 2024. Like it took like maybe 6 months, because I started fasting clean in September of 23, and I'd say by that spring, by like March, April, it became effortless. And when I say effortless, I stopped getting the hangry feeling. Pretty much rule of thumb is once you become actually fat adapted, which can take anywhere from, 4 to 10 weeks. And I was on the longer end. It took me a solid couple of months, but you'll know that your body becomes fat adapted the second you don't feel hangry and starving and irritable. So if you are feeling that way, give it time, and you'll know that your body is flipping that metabolic switch when you start to just kind of have that energy burst and you start to feel really good, and the longer you fast, the better you feel. So just give that time, at least minimum 6 weeks. And the last question here, I know I'm getting long on time. I was really hoping I could just, I wasn't sure how long this video was going to be, so I appreciate it if you guys are still sticking with it. But the last question I have for right now was, did I exercise? So the answer to that was yes and no. Again, I started my alternate day fasting journey in January, and there's a whole backstory to this with my running history. But basically, I was training for a half marathon scheduled for, I think it was March 1st or 3rd. I can't remember. Anyways, say March 1st of this year. So when I started alternate day fasting, I was mid training plan for this half marathon. So it was wintertime, obviously, in January, and I was running on my treadmill, 5-6 days a week. And for those of you that don't know, a half marathon is 13.1 miles. And so I had I had 3 regular running days, a midweek progressive long run, and then the weekend actual long run. So I was getting up to like 12 miles on a Saturday before I even ran the race. So I was really in like exercising a lot. And here's the interesting thing. The race came and went. I ran the whole race fasted. I got a personal record. It was great. I ran the race at about 164 pounds, so I was 20 pounds down by March after starting end of January. But honestly, I got really burned out after that race. And I just was like, I don't want to run anymore for a while. And I like, it was causing more stress than it was worth. And so I took a humongous break from exercise in general, and I literally did absolutely nothing other than my daily activity from March until August. Like, I did nothing. I didn't go for a walk on purpose. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't run. I didn't do anything activity on purpose. And quite ironically, that was when I was having the highest rate of my fat loss, was when I wasn't exercising. So in July, I got to that 120 maintenance weight, and then July rolled around, and one of my earlier videos, I talked about how it was like, oh, I should probably do some form of exercise on purpose because it's good for you, and I want good heart health, and I want longevity. So August 1st was when I started implementing, let's do something. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter the intensity. Just move my body for a minimum of 30 minutes every day. And in August, that only happened 12 times. I was on vacation for half of it. And then, and then September, I exercised 26 out of the 30 days and it wasn't anything crazy. It was like, a walk down the nature trail or walking up and down in my driveway or whatnot. And now it's kind of evolving more towards, I want to focus on building lean muscle. I want to improve my metabolism and all of that. So now I'm really focusing on the strength training. But again, I did 21 push-ups yesterday and 12 sit-ups, and that was my entire strength training session. That took all of 2.5 minutes. So the message behind that is, do I feel exercise is important? Absolutely. Is it required for weight loss? I don't really think so, because it doesn't make things better. Does it help with skin tone and all of that? Absolutely. But did I exercise? Yes and no. All right, guys, I think that was it for my question and answer video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I'm long-winded and I can go off on tangents, so thank you for bearing with me. If you have additional questions or need follow-up information, drop that in the comments below. I do read those and I appreciate the comments that you guys leave. If you like this kind of content and like following along with my journey, I do really, truly appreciate it if you like and subscribe or share this channel with a friend. My goal is to help motivate and inspire and educate anyone coming into the intermittent fasting world. So again, if this video helps one person, then I'm glad I took the half hour to record it. And if you watch this one first, because I'm going to release this one first, stay tuned for my 1 month update. I'm going to be experimenting with editing. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your day. Take a huge breath and enjoy the fast. Enjoy the fast. It's a wild ride. And yeah, I can't wait to hear your feedback, and I'm looking forward to making more videos with you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.